Welcome back to Short Shift Garage, and on this episode on the VK wagon I'm going to be replacing the brake fluid reservoir, and also I've got some carby work to do. I'm going to replace the power valve and also change out the accelerator pump cams. So I'm going to be changing the reservoir out with an AU Falcon one, so it sits level so you get a better reading of your fluid. I'm going to try and do it in the car, just leaving the master cylinder there. But down in here, where the other one's a bolt, this one's a Phillips head and you can't get on it. I've tried to use a little ratchet and put pressure on it, just rounding it off. So now, to get that off, I've got to take the whole thing out and bleed the whole system, which I'm probably going to have to do anyway. Just makes it a bit more complex than really what it should have been. So I'm going to jack the car up, put on axle stands, drain that reservoir, crack the lines, and then I'm going to remove that bracket off the front as well. Remove that bracket, undo the two lines, and then the two bolts that hold it in. So we'll get it up, we'll get the car jacked up, and then we will go from there. Alright, we've just got the sucky. Okay, so it does pay with these lines to have the right spanners. So we've got brake line spanners, a whole kit here, just so you get the right fitting, the right spanner for the fitting, so you don't round it off, because these are normally super tight. I have adapters in here to suit the VK to VT lines. I had quite a bit of drama getting these to seal up, so I'm just going to hold them with a shifter so we don't undo those, and hopefully we can get these lines to seal up like when I put this in. That's maybe why I changed out the master cylinder, because I couldn't get that to seal in there, so I thought it was that. So we have it removed. That is the screw that I'm talking about that I couldn't get to, and the other ones have a little bolt. So we'll get him off, we'll put him on, see if we got some fittings. We'll probably have to try and bench blade this before we put it back in. So this is the little contraption I've made up to bench blade this master cylinder. Got a little chainsaw vise going on there and a bit of wood and a F-clamp. All the air has been bled out, just using these clear lines and these crappy plastic fittings I wanted to keep leaking, so that's a bit of a challenge. But I had an issue with the, I was going to say it's a low level switch, but it could be pressure switch as well. It was leaking fluid through there. Stuffed around a bit, ended up actually ordering a new fitting, trying that, didn't work, tried an old fitting, didn't work. So what I found is the portioning valve, which is this here, this is the one that's out of it, was bypassing. So this is where it sits, this is the spare, this is the other switch, it sits down in there like that. And what happened, it was moved a tiny bit and then it was leaking past, pushing that down and leaking. So that's the one that was out of it. That's a new master cylinder, by the way. That's what got 250 k's on that master cylinder. and yeah, it wouldn't work. So what I found was it must be an O-ring. O-rings actually look quite good, so I don't know what's going on. But what I did is I took the proportioning valve out of the other master cylinder that I had and put it in that one, and it's not leaking now. Rings look good, so I don't know if it's the internals that are bypassing or it sees, but because it sat for a little bit, but to me that shouldn't really be an issue. But I put the spare one in there, which would be an older one. I gave it a clean. It had a bit of shit in there. A little bit of shit came through the oil, so I dropped it and done it again. A little bit more shit, but that should be fine. I'll suck it out with the sucker once I fill it up. Try and get some of the flakes that have come through there. But right now, I'll try and fit some plugs into here. I don't think I'm going to have enough, so I might have to leave the hose on there. But now you pretty much want to install it how it is, with no air coming through your hoses or going back into your reservoir. Install it to the vehicle, bolt it up, replace one line at a time, making sure that this doesn't drain down, and then that'll stay bled. But I'll just show you quickly. So you use a screwdriver into here. This is where your rod from your brake pedal would go. And what you do is you just push it all the way, and it'll suck back up. And that's good now. But what I was getting was just all your air bubbles would come through here and run into there, and it would bubble up. You can see it. You just keep going. It took a little bit, but you just keep going until it stops. And then that's bled, and you want to retain the fluid in it. Put it in the car, and then you'll bleed the each caliper. But this will make it a bit easier. Master cylinder is in, bled up, lid's back on it. Does sit a little bit that way, but at least it's a bit level now. But that's in. I think it's more the bracket that I bought. I bought an eBay bracket for the VT booster, and it's actually it was a cheap bracket, and that's why it could have probably been a bit thicker steel, and then I think the holes are just not drilled in the right spot, so it leans down a little bit. It's not the biggest issue in the world, just more of a visual, still works fine. There we have it, we're back on the ground. I was going to leave it up, so I still got to pull the carby apart and change the power valves. Probably do that the next week. So just gonna drop on the ground for now. Okay, what I'm going to go through now and do is remove the bowls, primary and secondaries, pull the metering block out and replace the power valves. Pretty sure there's a 4.5 in there. Add the box, I'm going to put a 6.5 in there, and then give it a road test and see what works. So I'll go through now, take the air cleaner off, disconnect the fuel lines, drain some fuel out of those bowls, and remove those metering blocks and get those power valves out. I did drain this down when I turned it off last, but you still have some fuel left in here, so I've chucked some rags to try and catch a bit of the this spillage we're going to have so it doesn't go everywhere. Maybe not. I do have my container that I'll put down here. I'll crack this bottom bolt and we'll get whatever residue we have coming out. We'll catch some of it, but we won't get all of it. You just got to be careful with these as well, because you do have little washers on there that you don't want to lose at all, because if not you'll have a leak. And just watch the accelerator pump arm as well while you're there. It just comes off like that. So that's your bowl when you float. And these run the reusable gaskets on them. I do have a new set, but you would just inspect them, and if they're not pinched or damaged too much, you can reuse them a couple of times, which is quite handy. There we go, we're off. So this power valve here is a 4.5. I've got about 11 inches of vacuum at idle. I'm going to chuck a 6.5 in there. Don't know if I've also got 5.5, so I'll start with the 6.5. Try and give it a bit more of a change to see if it makes a difference. She doesn't look too bad. Just make sure that your surface is nice and clean. Just with these retaining bolts, you do not need to go stupid on these at all. You'll just strip it, snip them up nicely, evenly. Okay, so I've got the secondary metering block off. I've probably had a brain fart here because I've had this off before, and it's actually got the power valve blocked off, which that's how I'm going to leave it, because it's got bigger jets in the back. So my jets are 82 in the back, and then I've got, I think currently at the moment, a 75 in the front. So we're going to put this back in how it is with the 6.5 power valve in the front on the primaries and see how that goes. Right, carby is fully back together, everything's been buttoned up. Need to pretty much start the fuel system now, check for leaks around my fittings and around the bowl, and then we can take it for a cruise. So we'll just pressurise up the fuel lines and fill up the bowl, and then quickly check for leaks. Yeah, you just need to double check that you've got no fuel leaks. Everything was done up pretty tight, so we should be good. But yeah, last thing you want is a fuel leak, so just go over everything and make sure. Okay, so I've got the timing light on it, I've got the vacuum reference to the ignition box disconnected. I'm going to start it up, car's hot, and just check and see where my timing mark is, and then I'm going to put the vacuum back on and then see what it advances to. That box has got about 10 degrees of advance at 15 inches of vacuum, which we don't have 15, we're about 11. Ignition back on, and we will see how much it drops or deviates to. Start it back up. Rightio. So it goes to about 30. So we're getting about 8 degrees advance put in it. So we've got about 30 degrees at the moment. Pretty happy with that. I'm not going to touch it. So the reason I'm replacing these cams, you've got your cams down here for your accelerator pumps, one on each side for your primaries and your secondaries. There's a pink cam in there, which is the standard one. When I'm cruising probably about 80k humble, very, very light, but it's there if you just lean gently into the throttle. If you slam into it and open up the secondaries, it goes away. So I'm thinking it may be the accelerator pump. I'm going to throw the orange cam in there, which is just going to give it a bit more, a quicker shot, and it'll run out quicker, but it'll give it a quicker shot first up. If that doesn't work, then I maybe have to change the actual accelerator in the secondary itself, the accelerator pump to a 50cc. I think it's a 30cc in there at the moment, but we'll do this, then we'll road test it, see how we go. I'm definitely not an expert with carbies at all. I am just trying to teach myself and learn as I go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back this spring off, give it a lot of play, so the cam lobe's going to move once I put the new cam in there, and then we'll go through and we'll set that. We are lined up on number 1 hole, and that is where we'll go back to. So that comes out, cam drops out the bottom. It's the pink cam. So what we're going to do is line up hole 1 with hole 1 on our cam. So once it's sitting like this, we will adjust it a tad. So I'll undo this and that'll tension it up. You don't want to put, you just want to take the play out of it. So that's now got tension, that's got too much on it. And what that's doing, that's already activating that accelerator pump, which is not what you want. So you got to do this in pretty much 2 stages, because you set it to where you think it needs to be, and then you need to go to wide open throttle and make sure that we've still got travel in our accelerator pump. Okay, with our lash set to 0 and where we're happy, so we're not pressing down on the lever to activate the accelerator pump diaphragm, you want to grab a 15,000 of an inch feeler gauge, and what you're going to do is you're going to slide it under the bolt and the lever. You want to go to wide open throttle, and you want to check that you still have travel. in that, which we do. And the easiest way to tell is if you look up here at the bolt and the arm, there's no gap there, so it hasn't bottomed out, so you still have travel. So we still have a bit of travel in that, which is good, which means that we're not going to compress the diaphragm and damage it. So I'm happy where that is. So there we have it. The accelerator pump cams have been changed, lash taken out, checked. They look pretty good. All there is to do now is take it for a test drive and see if it makes an adjustment or not. One other thing to note is the squirters I have replaced previously. I think it was a 31, I put a 35 in there. It did adjust the stumble slightly, but it's still there. It's a very minor stumble, but we just want to iron that out and try and get rid of it. So we just got back from taking this for a test run with that accelerator cam change out. It's cleaned it right up, which is great. That's what we're after. The car was always responsive, but now it's real snappy as well, which is good. At the end of the day, it's a street car, but yeah, happy with that adjustment. It does actually, for the cam and manifold and that's in it, it actually does cruise quite well. It definitely wants to go, but it's very decent cruiser for how it's set up on the street. Behaves all right, but once you want to give it some, it's ready to go. But yeah, so that's all sweet for now. So with that, we went from a pink cam to an orange accelerator pump cam, replaced the power valve to a 6.5, and then also done that brake master cylinder reservoir. This would probably drop just after Christmas, hence the fully sick hat. But just a big shout out to everyone. Thanks for watching, subscribing to the channel this year. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will catch you in the New Year. Thanks for watching.